we're talking about is really a situation we had in 2011. It resolved itself. I'll show you why. But first, I hate my. So, just to give you a little bit of a background on the Pueblo, we manage 79,000 acres in the Department of Natural Resources. 12 miles of that's Rio Jemez, 6 miles of that is Rio Grande. We have over 1,200 acres of Bosque in the Rio Grande that we've been managing for 15 years. These are some shots. I'm sorry, I'm not going to use this anymore. This is a Rio Jemez. This is a Rio Grande a couple of years ago. And this is a shot of the Rio Grande Bosque looking at the Sandias. So the Rio Grande, as most of you know, but we'll just review it again real quick. It used to be a braided system. This is 1935. This is the Hyatt right here, the red dot on both of those. It used to be very shallow. It used to be a high sediment load. It used to be muddy, sandy bottom, large floodplains. This has all changed. It all changed with Coche Dam. So now we have a single channel. It's deeply inside. Some areas 6 to 10 feet, some a little bit more. It's here most of the year, so all of that sediment is now being held on dams. It's a gravel cobble bottom, although that's changed the last couple of years, which is kind of nice to see. It's still primarily gravel cobble. And we have an abandoned terrace floodplain, which is the area that we're talking about here. So prior to 2011, this is what the Bosque used to look like. It was very dark. There usually wasn't a lot of herbaceous cover on the ground. We had almost a solid canopy. And this is the area that we're talking about. So it's right by the Hyatt, which is a very public area. Again, you can see not a lot on the ground, but really just a nice, dark, dense canopy. This is a remnant of the very last flooding before Coche. This is where most of these cottonwoods came in. So they came in 35, 39 to about 40s, 50s, and then improvement stopped there. Again, prior to 2011, what I'm showing here is a lot of down material that just accumulates. So a lot of leaf litter, which contributed to the lack of herbaceous material. So really, my gig here is the story. Just talk loud. Can you hear me? Okay. So as I was saying, what I'm here to talk about really is the visual and the story portion. Raul's going to talk about the mapping. Kim's going to talk about the data, sort of the on-the-ground stuff that her and her group has been finding. So in 2011, in the spring of 2011, my colleague and I were driving around, and he goes, "Hey, that's weird." Went to the Bosque and shows me this dead area. At that point, it was slightly dying. So we drove over and we went, yeah, that's weird. That's 20 acres of dead cottonwood. I wonder how that works. At that point, it was only 20 acres of dead cottonwood. That was in September. It's in about the same spot. So after we saw this, we drove down to our partners at Sandia and said, hey, you guys, have you been seeing this? Do you know what's going on? And they said, now that you mention it, yeah, we've seen something. So it just progressed from there. 2011, you can see, this is in October. We've already got, these are poles that were planted years ago. How do they plant them, actually? They're dead. They died within the year. So it wasn't like it was a general, hey, something kind of looks ill. It was gone. This didn't come back. You can see some early senescing, some yellowing of the leaves. This is that same area in October. So we're looking right in there. This is September 2012. You can see there's a lot more light coming to the ground. September, and we would get these weird yellow spotted. They would just decide to early synapse, and it was just one tree, or it would be a part of a tree. It wouldn't be the whole tree. So we would get we call it spotting now. This is in September 2012. This is that whole area. you think, oh, that's really just, we're just going into fall. But this is the worst area. So everything else north of there was green at the same time. We skipped 2013 because it was a horrible year. It was the worst year. So there was a lot more death. This is that same area, and this is what it looked like last year. We had a whole bunch of secondary weeds come in. We pretty much had a blue canopy. Everything south of this area is starting to spot. So we're getting select cottonwood dying. It will be the young ones. It'll be the old ones. It'll be the pools. Sometimes it's not just the cottonwoods. In other areas of the Bosque, we had juniper that died out. Sometimes 90% of the population. I mean, we had a rough couple of years. And you can see, this is in September. This is nice and green. This is not so green. This is in November. So we're starting to get the change, but you can really see the dead stuff. And this is
So in order to map this section of the area, we acquired, actually this is data that we acquired for Cameron's Beetle project with the U.S. Chemical Engineers, which is covering the area that we're talking about today. We acquired 4 different satellite images in order to cover the time and space between 2010, Worldview 2, Rapid Eye, Spot, and Quickbird, ranging from 7 to 33 foot resolution. In order for the data to be used and to be correlated together, the data was radiometrically corrected to watts per meter squared per microwatts per radian. And then we did reflectance, converted the data to reflectance using solar radiance for the periods of time. This is the model that was created using the ERDAS Imagine software to perform the radiometric calibration. Once the data was radiometrically corrected and converted to reflectance, I built a model based on Albedo, which is the mean average reflectance in the visible. Used the normalized difference vegetation index, which is a measure of the difference between the chlorophyll absorption in the red wavelengths and the near IR reflectance. And then NRED, which is a measure of the redness, which really is more for the Temer study than for this. And again, that's the ERDAS Imagine model that we built. We used the 2005 color infrared digital imagery as kind of the standard that represented, in this particular area, we picked an area which we call a Bosque South. And it's the standard of what I'm going to say is healthy cottonwood in 2005 represents 100% cottonwood cover and 0 die-off, and there's approximately 171 acres of coverage. The first image that we did, the study, again, I'm just running through this quick at a time. In 2010, what we found is Nathan was saying, we were seeing some die-off already. We had 162 acres of cottonwood and approximately 5% of die-off. Again, this is the same image. Let's see, so this is the area where you're going to see the most die-off in this image, around this delta and around this density of cottonwood. And already we had 5%. You can kind of see it's not as red in here as in the other image. And you can see that there's some die-off, so 5% die-off in 2010. In 2011, we had 135 acres in this area of cottonwood and 20% die-off already. Here again is the image, and the die-off in orange. In 2012, 127 acres of cottonwood along this stretch of the Bosque, and already 25% die-off. And you can kind of see here's a nice robust cottonwood spectra, and then this kind of grayish area that's starting to develop, which is represents areas of die-off, and you can see in the orange. And then the most die-off that we were able to see was in 2013, represents 13%. 13%, you can see here again the loss of this nice near infrared reflectance to these nice gray areas. and 20% down. Another way to look at this is I took 10 spectral samples through time throughout the Bosque. We had again nine spectral samples scattered. We had 10, which is outside the Bosque area. So this is kind of going to represent kind of the standard. And then we took some samples along the golf course as an example. So what you see here is in feature space, you have albedo versus NDVI. I took an image of 2011 in March 24th, which basically represents leaf off, the leaf off end member, the spectral end member on this nice grass that was nice and green and maintained green the whole time. And then site 10 is a site that's a cottonwood site that's outside of the area of die-off. You can see the distribution of the cottonwood trees in NDVI, 4.4 and above. The site that we're going to look at here is site 7, which is a site in die-off. When we compare that to, again, 2013, you can see that here site 10, which is a nice cottonwood site, it still has a high reflectance. All the sites have decreased in reflectance, and then you have approximately 6 sites here that are below, at or below the leaf off sites. Looking at site number 3, which is right in the center of the cottonwood die-off, you can see here. You can see here on 2010, relatively healthy, 25% die-off. You have then in August 2011, again approaching die-off, approaching the winter leaf off. In 7, you have a slight increase, and I think that increase is due to, in 2011, you have 0.42 inches of rainfall. In 2012, you have 6 times the amount of rainfall, so there's a slight increase. But then when we go back to 2013, in that particular site, things are dead. You can see that it's well below the die-off spectrum. I'm going to pass it on to my colleague. Also, we have the field trip. If anybody wants more information about how we did this analysis, remote sensing analysis, we'll have a little station at the Santa Ana field site.
For those of you who are not familiar with our program, the Bosque Ecosystem Monitoring Program, for them, involves K-12 students and their teachers, along with university students, in monitoring long-term change in the Bosque. So at this point, we have 18 years of data on our oldest sites. We have 30 sites spanning about 350 miles of the Rio Grande. And the Santa Ana site is one of our oldest sites. So we have quite a bit of data. Unfortunately, when you have a citizen science program that's this large, and a staff that initially was quite small, you end up with gaps in the data. So there are some missing data up here. So what we're looking at here is the overall litter fall, both for cottonwoods in blue and for all of the tree species at the Santa Ana site from 2000 through 2014. And what you really see here is that we have a significant drop from 2000 to 2005, this group from 2010 to 2014. We actually have a second significant drop from 2011 to 2014. So we're seeing this huge, significant decrease in cottonwood leaf fall coming down. And this is actually an 85% decrease in the amount of cottonwood litter fall coming down at the site. When we look at plant cover, here again we have in red the total plant cover of the site, and here in blue is the cottonwood cover. And so you can see here again, as we go through time, we've had this 50% decrease in the cottonwood cover at our site. We have this nice little increase in 2014 in our total plant cover, and that is almost phenomenally tumbleweed cover. So not exactly what we were hoping for to replace our cottonwood. So really what we're looking at is this sort of bosque going to this. And this is the same date, so you can see what a healthier cottonwood forest looks like compared to the dead zone. I do want to point out, when we're looking at river flow data, this is USGS river flow and the hash line, and we have some precipitation data in the solid line. And really, these years represent, as we know, the drought that we've moved into starting in 2008. So we have this decrease in precipitation. And we have this little reprieve because we had these nice late monsoons in September, October, which wasn't enough to increase our river flow. So really, not just at the Santa Ana site, but across our sites, we're looking at decreased river flow. We're looking at quite often increased diversion as we're trying to get water downstream to meet our obligations. And that decrease in river flow has a direct correlation with the groundwater level. And so what we're finding at our dump sites to the south is that we've had in the last 5 years up to a 60-centimeter decline in the shallow aquifer. There's one dump site out of our 28 that have wells that has not had a decrease in the water table. That one site that had a 5-centimeter increase in groundwater level is actually right above the drinking water project diversion dam on the west side. So 27 out of 28 sites have had a decrease in water level. So when we look at the Santa Ana site, as Nathan mentioned, the river is very degraded there. If you take a chance on your tour and walk to the bank, you'll notice it's about a 12-foot drop to the river. So this is very likely one of our influencing factors on our vegetation cover. And one of the things that PEMSA, we get kids looking at surface active arthropods where the critters are walking around on the ground, and one of our strongest indicators is actually roly-poly. Anguillidium is not a native species, but they do very well here. And what we find is, as we go through time, as we have a drop-off in our cottonwood cover, a drop-off in our ground cover, and the continuing drop in river flow and decline in precipitation, of course we get a decrease in our bugs that are crawling around, and then we especially have a sharp decline in our roly-poly. And so what we're looking at here is really the average out of 3 collections a year, 20 traps per site. How many of these roly-polies are we getting? We went from an average of about 46 per year down to 20, down to 2. So when you look at total numbers, we went from about 1,000 roly-polies per site to 24 roly-polies per site. So this is a huge decrease. That being said, we have a full recovery with that nice, again, those late monsoon rains. And I will say that this isn't just a die-off of cottonwood, but if you look across the 3 dump sites, you see the same declines in arthropod numbers, especially roly-polies. I know how many of you are in this area, but in 2011, we had that amazing freeze. We were well below freezing, down into -10 for about 3 days, and we saw this hit across our Bosque site. Yeah, a lot of hardware.
I just wanted to finish off and say the purpose of this presentation is not to steps for it really was to work a model that's going to happen in community. Once you get, it doesn't matter if it's old land or because anytime you build a system, one dominance, even age, this is going to happen. We have a very intimate connection with this thing. So when we saw it, it wasn't actually we are seeing it. So with all the doing
I'll give you a comment to I guess, corroborate or maybe give a second vote for some of your observations there. In the early 2000s, we were in the midst of, a serious drought, and that's when we had bark beetles all over our pinon trees and significant tree dying events throughout the northern part of the state. So that, might fill in some of the, or at least give a second vote there for what was happening to your Bosque system during that period. And then that 2011 freeze, I do a lot of identifications of arthropods and assessment of landscape plants in the southern part of the state as well as in the north too. And so there were a lot of trees that just were killed by that major freeze, and then the others were hurt badly. And death takes a long time to finally overtake some of these trees. So I think that has some potential explanation of what you're seeing there. Because we lost things like palm trees, which we didn't need, and some other exotic pines that again were really stressed by these conditions. Both times.
This system it is sort of the competence of New Mexico. New Mexico.
And it's also changed your insect components too. Well, your critters are out there in their relative numbers and that sort of thing. So.
You killed my trees. I noticed that. Well, I guess I just wanted to for folks that aren't as familiar with this area as other parts of the Middle Rio Grande, like Nathan said, it's deeply incised through this reach. The depth of groundwater through here is about twice what it is through Albuquerque. So you're right at the threshold for cavitation for this plant. So I don't know if you're looking at drought stress and measuring silent pressure potential and other things, but it's pretty obvious. You don't have to measure it to know that that's really probably what's going on. I think the other thing that's interesting looking at the images is, and I've always known this, you're right at a big alluvial fan, and the subsurface flow that comes through there, I can't help but wonder with all the pumping that happens in Rio Rancho upstream, how much that's contributing and exacerbating the already deep groundwater system. So just throwing that out there. I don't know if you guys have started looking at that.
I'm sorry, the Berlin that's in 96. A whole bunch of wells were put out there. We've been monitoring since 97. So the data on the south side, even though we can't really can't get it but it can see that over time since 97, very the south one that we put in I'm sorry, third of what we the one part of what we did turn so we are we're seeing that that's a part of it.
It's interesting because it's affecting both the old and the young trees. So.
Yeah. That was sort of the indicator. It wasn't. We keep going back to this. Maybe it's a bug. Maybe it's a. It's not good. It's interesting. What's scary? What's scary? Go out in the open and see the water.
Just one more quick question. So, what are your plans? You know, now you're looking at huge areas of that forest. What are you guys thinking about in terms of future potential for those areas? The problem with what's happening is that we really work with we work with the quantum. I don't really give you the implication I want to do. So I think we know about it. I'm not, you know, it's not really clear. You experience this when that frustration. What do you want to see here? Well, what do you want to put there? Well, I want to put there what you want to put there. You know, you sort of go around and around. We are looking at some of the past techniques that you guys originally, not willows, but maybe we're moving into cottonwoods. But the Corps cleared off a 5-acre swale area just north of the pavilion. All of those cottonwoods that we actually see that in the group. But we would need a partner such as because everything costs money and we don't have a lot of people. So, but if you want to talk about that, I'm interested in your ideas.
So Tom Whittam's research at NAU is all about this idea that adaptive genotypes today are maladaptive tomorrow. And it seems like your story really fits with that idea. Have you guys considered a genotypic approach to future restoration plans?
I think would be hard. I mean, I think that we're not just looking at very small elements in that. We're talking about landscape. I think what we're talking about really is moving into a different system. And that's happened in the past. As the floodplain is shrunk, cottonwoods and even come down to where the water meets, right? So changing out one species for same species, I don't think that we need. So I think we need to start looking at dryer systems and rainwater systems, moving the coast. We have this problem where the water actually gets stuck. You know, when we remove the water off, so I don't think we need to parcel on that scale. I think that we're going to tend to
just to follow up on what you mentioned earlier, Nathan, as he mentioned, he called us down in Sandia, north of Pueblo Sandia, he was Pueblo San, and was like, "Are you noticing this too?" And okay, we'll go check it out. And we drove up and down the Bosque parts, that we hadn't been to in a while, and some of what I thought were our best parts of our Bosque, which were, well-spaced trees, nice mid-story, grasses had come in. Army Corps had done a restoration project there a number of years ago, and it had filled back in nicely, and it was kind of out of sight, out of mind for me because I had plenty of other areas to worry about. And all of a sudden, that's where our die-off was. Ours grew quickly, went to about 2 acres, and has seemed to have halted. And inside of it, even the New Mexico olive forest area had gotten. It seems to be making a comeback now. Of course, the cotton, once it does, it's gone. And of course, where I'm standing, it's the same incision down cutting problem. So I'm looking at a river that's 8+ feet below me, and knowing these trees are older and all of that, and thinking, oh, that's it. But then I looked across the river at flood created cottonwoods from the last time we had floods in 2006 and 7. That were right there at the water level, and those were also good. And so just kind of added to the mystery, almost maybe some kind of input from maybe the lost conscious sediments coming out of the lost conscious fire, and suddenly a quick addition of some kind of what effectively became a poison, if not an actual poison or something. But just to add to what you said.
Yeah, it's funny because when I tell people that you have this sort of the same thing, usually their first response is, "No, that's the burn-off area." And I said, "Yeah, I'm pretty well aware of what area is at Sandia." But they don't. It's an uncomfortable conversation
information to have when you start looking at the depth of one ecosystem. So, and that's kind of where we're at. We're just not too far. But we've gotten a lot of really uncomfortable I don't really want to see, you know. So, but it's really, you know, thank you.
You know, you can't win for trying. Now we're early, and I just got a message that we're supposed to stay right on time. So you have 3 minutes to race to the bathroom or talk with your neighbor, and